Among the exotica they're leaving is a fleet of Antonov biplanes. These days used to carry mail around the steppe. We chartered one, secure in the knowledge other planes were unlikely to be flying because there's hardly any fuel available. The Antonov cruises at the speed of a slow saloon car. We hopped over the mountains south of the capital to a Soviet Air Force nuclear base abandoned a few months ago. First, it was necessary to ensure that all the wild horses had crossed the runway. With that final low-level check completed, it was time to wake up the Mongol Air Force. They arrived by bike, friendly enough, but nonplussed to see, of all things, an aeroplane. Just imagine that during the decades of the Cold War, this base was targeted for annihilation, keyed into the computer boards of the Chinese missile system across the border, and almost certainly the Pentagon's as well. Here, it was a Soviet finger that was on the nuclear trigger. Lenin's time had come and gone. Now the Mongols hope to turn this concrete emptiness into an international airport. But other socialist dinosaurs, especially around Ulaanbaatar itself, are less easy to transform. This is the Soviet-built No. 3 power station. It provides a vital part of the capital's power and heating. But like similar plants nearby, this power station is perpetually on the brink of failure. The basic problem, apart from its out-of-date technology, is there are no spare parts. And since January, the Soviets have demanded hard currency payments for all goods, something the Mongols haven't got. Giant, broken components are everywhere. This is the coldest capital in the world, a place of extremes. Where icicles can suddenly sprout in the middle of summer. So the coming power station crisis frightens those in charge. There's a Heath Robinson heating system with huge pipes already cracked and corroding, wastefully taking warmth, literally, across roads. A communal heating system reaching the apartment blocks where over half the capital's people live.
Өнөөдрийн байдлаар манай цахилгаан станц 200 мянган тонн үүрс нөөцлөх ёстой. Гэтэл одоо байдал дээр дөнгөж 50 мянган тонн үүрс нөөцтэй байна. За хамгийн гол шалтгаан бол одоо уурхайнаас ирүүж чадахгүй байна. Хэрвээ ямар нэгэн байдлаар манай цахилгаан станц зогсох юм бол Улаанбаатар хотын 30% нь цахилгаан дулаанг болно. Өөрөөр хэлбэл ихээхэн одоо хүмүүс бол даарна гэсэн үг. Хэрвээ даарах юм бол өвчин авна. Өвчин авах юм бол мэдээж ойлгомжтой одоо ард түмэн хөдөлмөрчд одоо хөл аюулд очно л гэсэн үг. Ийм л юм болох юм байна.
If winter kills, when the deep freeze begins, it's the nomads, still over half of Mongolia's population, who'll be best placed to cope. These are tinkers, allowed to freely roam again now that the rigid control of the party has collapsed. With it has gone the interference of Soviet advisors anxious to keep Mongols away from Moscow's network of secret military bases. Every week now, the Trans-Siberian Express carries batches of Soviet advisors away from Mongolia. Many are bitter, complaining that their once submissive ally has turned against them. We joined one party of disconsolate construction workers, including women house painters.
Только приехала, год поработала, что заработали, то они все вынесли с квартиры. И нам ничего не вернули. Так и осталось на этом. Никакой за нам защиты, ничего нет. Как это так? Они должны нам что-нибудь довернуть, хоть половину. Вот так, что ж тут. Обидели нас сразу прям. Ничего хорошего нет, честно.
In Central Asia, this Soviet exodus really is a turning point in history. But if the Russian bear is withdrawing north, the Chinese dragon to the south is stirring. The Chinese already rule 3 million Mongols in what's called Inner Mongolia. It's a border region which remained under Peking's control when the bulk of Mongolia was freed from Chinese domination 80 years ago. Now, Mongols have deep-rooted suspicions about the ambitions of their old overlords. We travelled to Zarmanuda, where Mongolia's border patrol, until recently under Soviet supervision, stands alone guarding Mongolia's boundaries. Just after dawn, in the eastern Gobi Desert, a Mongol frontier patrol crosses the railway line that links Peking and Moscow. They're on the lookout for smugglers, and given Peking's sensitivities, any Mongol nationalists trying to export democratic reforms to their brethren to the south. Now the rise of Mongol nationalism, plus the start of multi-party democracy and a Buddhist religious revival, deeply worry the aging communist leaders in China. That's why they've ordered an internal crackdown against their own Mongol dissident leaders on their side of the border. On Mongolian territory, there are watchtowers dotted along the 2,600-mile border, but such is its immensity that short of deploying every one of Mongolia's 2 million people along it, the frontier can't be adequately protected. It was here, over 50 years ago, that the marauding Japanese Imperial Army, which had already seized the whole of northeast China, launched a series of cross-border raids. For Tokyo too has dreamed of controlling the vastness of Mongolia. Nowadays, the electrified border fence claims a few wild victims. Otherwise, it's a case of have gun, will travel. No recruit will be accepted by Mongolia's frontier force unless he can ride everything that can be saddled. In the eastern Gobi, Bactrian camels, with their ability to go for days without water, give added edge to this nation's token defences as the Mongols search for their own identity after the decades of being smothered by the Soviets.